If you've been feeling lazy, unproductive, and unmotivated, welcome to the club, sister. You are not alone. Right now, especially, is that time of year when, seasonal depression starts kicking in and trying to sabotage your productivity. But we are not going to let that get us down, okay? Yes, it's more comfortable to stay in bed all day. Yes, it's easier to procrastinate and let that negative little voice in your head keep holding you back. But ask yourself this: are you happy with the life you're currently living? Are you happy when you spend all day being lazy when you know you have things to do? Are you happy to waste your life away instead of actually getting up and achieving more? If the answer is no, then what are you waiting for? It's time to start setting some real goals, stop being lazy, and enter your productive era. Hey everyone, it's Ariel. Welcome back to my channel. So as productive as we can all be some days, I know that on the other side of that, we also have those days where we feel a little bit more lazy or we struggle a little bit more to get things done and stay motivated and focus on our goals, especially when seasonal depression is clawing at our backs like,
hey, it's getting pretty cold outside. Are you sure you don't want to stay in bed all day?
No. We would never get anything done and we'd be unhappy forever if we constantly let that little negative voice in our heads get to us and keep us stuck. So that is why in today's video, we are talking about how to actually be productive, how to stop being lazy, and how to realistically stay motivated while achieving your goals in life. Because those goals are not going to achieve themselves, okay? That's up to us to go out and reach them. So please give this video a thumbs up if you're enjoying it, and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new here. Now let's get into it. So first on the list, the first thing we need to talk about is how to stop being lazy. And I know we've all spent some time in our lazy girl eras, maybe too much time, but here's something that I think helps when it comes to getting out of that habit of laziness. So think about how you feel when you spend a whole day not doing anything, being lazy, procrastinating, staying in bed, putting off responsibilities, doom scrolling, feeding into negativity, like all of the bad negative things that you do when you're feeling lazy. And then compare that to how you feel when you spend a whole day getting things done, being productive, practicing self-care and healthy habits, being grateful, working towards your goals. And obviously when you compare the two, the second one seems a lot more appealing because you know you'll feel a lot better when you spend a whole day being productive and getting things done versus the day that you spent doing nothing, being lazy, right? Now this is where discipline comes in. It takes discipline to choose getting out of bed and being productive instead of doing what feels more comfortable in the moment, which in this case would be staying in bed all day, procrastinating, being lazy. You have to remember this. Remember that it takes discipline, it requires effort and intentionality to achieve your goals and make a change in your life. And you need to be the one to hold yourself accountable. If you actually want to change the way you're living or go from being lazy and unmotivated in life to being more productive and getting things done, being goal-oriented. So that is all up to you. And depending on how much you want it, it'll probably feel like a small price to pay to put in that discipline and that effort now so that you can actually live the way that you want and reach those goals. Now, let's move on to some productivity tips. The first tip I want to share with you is goal setting. And I think there's layers to this, but first and foremost, I think it's important to set one big ultimate goal. Because when you have just one big goal that you're working towards, it's so much easier to stay focused and motivated towards reaching this goal. Instead of setting like 100 goals and trying to do 15 things all at the same time, that's probably gonna feel like too much and you might just end up overwhelming yourself, which in turn can actually kill your productivity. So set one big ultimate goal and then make this a goal that actually interests you and or that you are good at. Because if you're interested in what you're working on, it will be so much easier for you to stick to it and actually enjoy the process of reaching this goal so you can use your strengths to increase your productivity. It also helps to find interest within your bigger goals. So if you have a goal that's maybe not super interesting to you, but you know that that's the goal that you want to achieve, find a little interest within that goal that keep it exciting and keep you wanting to stay working towards that goal. And another super helpful tip, in my opinion, is to break up your bigger goal into smaller goals. So this can mean taking your 1 year, 5 year, however big goal this is, and break that down into smaller, more realistic, more attainable goals. This will also make it easier to focus and maintain your productivity. And it also makes it so much more fun and rewarding when you can work towards achieving these small goals within your bigger goals. Another productivity tip I have for you is to create a plan of action. Once you know what your goal is, start making a plan. So make a list of all of your tasks, everything that you need to do. Maybe even prioritize or organize this list in order of importance. Whatever you need to do first, put that at the top. It might help to make a schedule so that you can track and manage your time in an efficient way. And also just do some planning. Think of a good strategy for how you'll realistically achieve this goal. And then honestly from there, just start. Just take that first step, start working on task number 1, and you will learn more as you go. And if it helps, you can start really small with this. You can just start with like, okay, I'm gonna work on task number 1 for 10 minutes and then I'm gonna take a 5-minute break. So that's at least already putting you in the right direction and getting you started in that routine to being productive in both your short-term and your long-term goals. Now, let's talk about how to stay motivated, because there's gonna be moments where you don't feel like working towards your goal. That is where the discipline comes in, like we talked about earlier, but there's also some tips that I have for you to keep that excitement going so that even when you hit a wall or you feel like, you know what, I feel like being lazy right now, I don't wanna put in the work right now, these are some things that I think help with that. Tip number 1 is to pump yourself up. My personal favorite, which always seems to work for me, is listening to my favorite song, listening to some music that really like pumps me up, you know? So you can definitely try listening to some positive music. You could try talking to someone that inspires you, or maybe listening to a motivational podcast. You can look for some inspiration on Pinterest. You can do a little dance. You can talk to yourself in the mirror, tell yourself you are a bad bee, like whatever it means for you to pump yourself up, do that. Just get yourself excited, you know? Seriously works. My next tip for staying motivated is to reward yourself and acknowledge your accomplishments while you're working towards your goals. Because here's the thing, if you're continuously working and like making moves, you're probably making progress, even if it's harder to see it sometimes. So take some time to acknowledge your accomplishments and just like notice what you've done, how far you've come. That can go a long way. Also super important is just to take breaks. So between whatever work or whatever tasks you're doing throughout the day, take a little break every now and then. You can schedule these in, or you can just take a little break when you feel like it, like when you really need one. I don't mean procrastinating, like, oh, let me just check my social media, see what everyone else is up to. Like, do something productive, a productive break that you know is actually gonna be beneficial to continuing the work or the task that you have to do after that break. You can even try going for a walk, like get some fresh air, get your body moving, look into the trees instead of just staring at your computer or phone screen. You can even just like stare at the ceiling for a few minutes, like just let your mind wander, let your mind rest. This is super beneficial. I think it also helps a lot to change your scenery, just change things up, because when you're always in this like productive routine, need to work more, need to not be lazy, not, you know, it can get kind of boring just being in the same routine. So change things up, explore a new environment, just freshen up your routine a little bit to keep things exciting. So this might mean working in a coffee shop or a library, or even just like a different room or space in your house. Or maybe it just means like removing all distractions or like clutter from your work area. Maybe adding a new decoration or frame that you can look at that makes you feel more inspired and motivated when you sit down at your desk. This can be so many things. Spending time in nature, I think, is a good one, really beneficial. Do some traveling if you can, or even like explore a new area in your hometown. Like, you probably have so many cool things in your area that you've never even seen. But it can be exciting to just like go and explore a new area. Just get a fresh change of scenery once in a while. Another tip I have for staying motivated is to not overload yourself and not burn yourself out. And I know that's easier said than done, but this is why you need to be realistic with your goals and how you schedule your time, because the truth is you can only get so much done in a day. So like if you're overloading your to-do list with 100 tasks that would be impossible to complete, that's not really helping you, because then you're just gonna not get it all done and you're gonna feel bad about yourself after. So I think you have to have a healthy balance between being productive and being realistic with yourself. Like, this is what I can actually get done today, and the rest can come another day or next week or next month. But if you're trying to do too much, you're gonna burn yourself out, and that's the opposite of being productive. And lastly, when it comes to staying motivated, I've said this tip before, but I want to say it again because I think it's extremely important and helpful, is remembering your why. So write down your ultimate goal on a sticky note in your notebook, or just store it in the back of your mind. This way you can come back to that if you ever lose sight of why you're doing what you're doing, and that will help you keep that motivation and keep you pushing towards actually reaching this goal. Then you can wake up and say to yourself, oh, this is why I got out of bed this morning. This is why I'm being disciplined and sticking with healthy habits. This is why I'm being productive even when I don't feel like it sometimes. It just makes it easier if you have that reminder somewhere. So that pretty much brings us to the end of this video, but lastly, just know that laziness is something that we all experience every now and then, and I actually think that we all deserve just like a slow, relaxing, lazy day every once in a while, because we can only work so much, and rest is productive too. But it's when we get stuck stuck in that pattern of being lazy and we don't really know how to get out of it, that's when we know that it's time to maybe switch something up or refocus. And it's probably going to take time to see changes, but hopefully these tips can help you find ways to get back to being productive and motivated next time you find yourself feeling lazy or stuck in a rut. So I hope you enjoyed today's video or found it helpful, and if you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you are not already. You can also follow me on Instagram at @StyledByAriel, and feel free to leave a comment down below. I always love chatting and responding to you guys down there, so I'll see you there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!